The deadline for a nuclear deal with Iran is June 30th, and if an agreement is reached, that would mean eventually an end to certain sanctions against Iran. Iranians were pretty excited about that after the framework deal was agreed on. That's because the sanctions have crippled Iran's oil-driven economy. Oil exports are believed to make up about 80% of Iran's total exports, and those exports have been cut almost in half since 2011. And Iran is believed to have the world's fourth largest reserves. So the prospect of sanctions being a thing of the past and a sudden outpouring of Iranian oil has led some to predict it would push global oil prices lower.
Iran could add something like another 800,000 barrels a day to the market within, let's say 6 to 9 months. And it could release also oil from storage within a period of 1 to 3 months after sanctions are eased.
Even though Iran has the potential to pump a lot of oil into the global market, the actual timeline for lifting sanctions could have a big effect on whether or not we'll see a dramatic change in prices. Iran hopes sanctions will be lifted immediately, but the 6 parties negotiating the deal with Iran are pushing for that to happen gradually.
Because we have about 1 million barrels of Iranian barrels that are off the market because of sanctions. So the question is, what's the speed of recovery? So you could have a deal and then still 6 to 12 months before sanctions start to get removed.
And the U.S. reportedly wants to have the option to put at least some of the sanctions back in place if Iran violates any part of the nuclear deal. But the Washington Post points out that's a sensitive matter. One view is that the United States and its allies do not want to wreck a deal that took so long to negotiate for a relatively minor violation that can be fixed. But at the same time, the administration does not want to construct a deal that signals to Iran that violations are acceptable. Last week, with a deal looming, Forbes analysts lowered their price estimate for crude oil this year, saying if Iran shirks its sanctions, it will likely ramp up its oil production and offer lower prices to gain a foothold in an oversupplied market. Officials have said the negotiations could continue past the June 30th deadline. After July 10th, Congress has 60 days rather than 30 to consider the agreement. For Newsy, I'm Kate Grumke.